Hi, I'm Bryan and welcome to what I'm now going to call Lost in Leicester. This is my 48th Trig Walk and we're starting off at Keyham and we're going to be going to Hungarton and heading up to South Croxton and into South Croxton Trig Point. I've heard it's a bit muddy around there, so hopefully I won't struggle getting it, and also I've heard that it's in a very muddy, boggy area. But first of all, we're going to be visiting All Saints Church in Keyham and then heading out towards Hungarton. So let's get going. All Saints Church dates mainly from the 13th century, though there's evidence of earlier worship on site. Like many village churches, it's grown and changed over time, but it's always been the centre of the community. Oh, it's not really a lot. I've got that marking there. Like to say, every marking has a story behind it. Well, that's all I can find. Let's see if we can actually find the benchmark. I know we've got this one before, but let's see if we can find it. So this is All Saints Church in Keyham. It's a very nice, quaint church. Got some nice stained glass windows. That's the belfry. I'll eventually learn all the names here. Very nicely decorated. I was talking to a local not that long ago, and he says the back pews slide out and it takes you to the crypts below. But I can't see anything that actually moves. So there's a nice stained glass window. Make sure I don't trip over. Right, I won't go too far because my boots are muddy. Can't really see a lot in here because it's dark. Why isn't my torch on? To add the sound to what I need. So like you said, there was a drop bolt, and you pull the drop bolt and one of these slides back, but there's no evidence. Unless it used to be here. It's all been bricked over. Nice little nativity scene. Lovely. There's the old font. Can't really see whether there's any carvings in the roof. I do love this church. Not for really good. No. I thought that was something along there, but it's not. Well, that looks like it wouldn't be in one. It wouldn't be in one piece. I departed this life. Well, I wonder how old those are. Oh, well, after a little look around, there is no benchmark on the church, so we're now going to head out towards Hungarton and hopefully find the old burial ground, which is near, oh God and Bennett, Keyham Bridge. Just a little bit of history. Keyham's name originates from Saxon time and is mentioned in the Domesday Book. This is one thing I like finding, the old hand pump. Call them water pumps, but when you're looking for water pumps, they just come out with all sorts of pumps to deal with water. So that's a hand pump. So we're now leaving All Saints Church, and the route that we take, I've been along part of this before, and we'll head out towards the gate. It's got a yellow way marker there, but you feel like you're going through somebody's garden if I remember rightly. So you come up to the fold, you see the sign, and you go through here. Once you've gone through the gate, you'll see the path. You've got the fold up there, but the path takes you to the left. And this will take you out, I keep saying, into the country. We're already in the country, but you know what I mean. Gordon Bennett is muddy already. I've not even got to the muddy part. I'm not actually sure about when I get to South Croxton, well, to the Trig point, because I've read about it being in a bit of a quagmire really, very boggy area. But I've got my boots. Hopefully it's not going to be too deep, and that will be my, I think that would be my 50th Trig point. I know there's Trig Walk number 48, but they don't usually, hang on a second, they don't usually correlate with the Trig points. Well, sometimes I do 2 Trig points, and sometimes I might not even get a Trig point. But looks muddy around here. I'm not too sure which way we go. Once you've gone over the fence, you bear left. Watch out, because it's extremely muddy. Obviously, depending what time of year you do this, but this is the 1st of January, and it's very muddy. Hang on a second. The weather doesn't look too promising today. Looks like we have a bit of rain, but hopefully it won't rain for at least 3 hours. So I think the exit's around there somewhere. Well, it took a bit of hunting, but this is where we cross. And this brings us out onto, I think, Keyham Road. Probably wrong on that, so let me just double check. So it brings us out onto Inglesby Road, and we cross over. Luckily, it's nice and quiet. Cross over, you see another sign here, and it takes us through some paddocks by the looks of it. A couple of horses. Hopefully they're not going to be too interested in me. This is one of the issues walking in the winter. It's so muddy along here. Nothing to hold on to apart from an electric fence. Basically, each time I step in the mud, not too bothered because I'm going to get muddy later. It goes up to your ankle. So I think we go through here. But as you can see, it's muddy. Oh, that was handy. I sort of, well, you know what I'm like. I ended up getting to the wrong field, managed to get through the electric fence into the wrong field, and the farmer came up to me and goes, hey mate, that leads to a dead end. There's another electric fence down there. So he actually showed me the way around through these electric fences, which is actually brilliant. So I'm now heading out onto the main road. Then when you get to the bottom, you come to the last electric fence and then onto the main road. So once you've gone all through the fields with all the horses tend to leave you alone. Been through some, one second, climbing over stile at the moment. Been through some fields where the horses, all they want to do is come and say hello. Don't you would have thought it would have been so bad with these brambles this time of year. So we're now on Hungarton Lane. So once you've gone, sorry about that. So once you've gone through all the fields, you come onto Hungarton Lane, which is this, another quiet road. It's supposed to be a steep hill up there, but we're heading out here to Keyham Bridge and hopefully another look at the graveyard. I thought it was around here somewhere, Keyham Churchyard. There's a lovely churchyard. I call it a graveyard, but what's the difference between a graveyard and a churchyard? Considering there's actually no church around here. Some of the graves around here date back to the 17th century. One thing about this graveyard, it's so quiet. There's a pity there's not a bench here where you can sit down and just think about the people that lived here basically 300 years ago. Now they're buried here, and what they died of. They could have probably died of the plague. They could have died of obviously anything, but one thing, back in 1721, it wouldn't have been a car crash, would it? As we leave Keyham Churchyard, we turn left and head towards Keyham Bridge. And I think there's a footpath along there, and we turn right and head out towards Hungarton. There's a pub in Hungarton, but obviously we're a bit too early for any pubs. Hopefully the pub back at Keyham, the Dog and Gun, will be open when we get back. Because they do lovely pork scratchings there. Once you've gone over Keyham Bridge, you follow this road and you'll see a public right of way sign. Turn right there and that'll take you to Hungarton. If it's too muddy going along the fields, you can always follow this road, and this will also take you to Hungarton. So here's the public footpath sign for Hungarton, half a mile this way. So it's about half a mile to Hungarton across the fields. It's about a mile going the other way round. But if it's really this way, it's going to take a lot longer to walk it than keeping on the road, so the choice is yours. It's lovely out here. It's the 1st of January. I'm sure everybody's still in bed. The only problem with my lifestyle, I work nights, so I end up going to bed early, getting up early. So I've beaten most people getting up today. And it's nice just going for a walk, hearing the birds. Can't really smell anything because I've got a bit of a cold. But seeing the hazy sun, you can't beat it, a bit of fresh air. I want another ridge and furrow field, dating back from the medieval periods. And just up ahead is Hungarton. So once you cross the fields and you come into Hungarton, you go through the swing gate and you come to Coldbalk Lane and you head straight down. And that should be where the church is. So you're heading down Coldbalk Road. Hungarton is also mentioned in the Domesday Book, and its name, like many other places around here, means farmstead or homestead. We're now going to be visiting St John the Baptist Church in Hungarton. Let's see if we can get in this one. Did quite well on the first one. The church here is St John's the Baptist Church. It mostly dates back to the 13th and 14th century. Hungarton was historically an estate village, which explains why it feels compact and planned rather than spread out. I know there's a benchmark on this church, but I can't find it. I've been around, there's one side that we can't get to, but I'm going to see whether we can actually get inside now. I've found the benchmark at St John the Baptist Church. It's just on the tower. Just there. Older than all the other buildings in the village, the church dates back between the 1290s and the 1350s. There's a record in the church of a priest Walter de Besford serving the parish in 1230, and so there may have been an early church on this site. Much alterations have taken place over the centuries, elements which altered in the 15th century and the present interior dates to the 18th century. The stained glass windows are 19th and 20th century additions, but it's a shame we can't actually get in there to see any of it. Oh, it's a shame that's locked up. Would have been interesting to have a look inside. It's a shame also that we're a bit too early for the church bells. So as you leave the church down, obviously Church Lane, you turn right onto Main Street, and we're now going to head out towards Baggrave Hall and Baggrave Medieval Village. It's an absolutely gorgeous village at Hungarton. I think there's a pub up here, but I've heard it's been turned into a bistro. And we know one thing, it won't be open now. That's lucky, almost went past the turning. You come, well, you'll see a drive on the right hand side. You can turn down here called the Den, and I think we go through here somewhere. Yeah, at the gate you'll see a footpath to your left, and you should head up here. Once you cross the field, as you come out of Hungarton, you come to Baggrave Road. You turn right on Baggrave Road, and this should obviously take you to Baggrave Hall and the remains of Baggrave Medieval Village. Not that there'll be anything there. Oh well, I thought it was all blocked off further down there, but you've got a cattle grid that you go over, and this will lead us hopefully up to Baggrave Hall and obviously Baggrave Medieval Village. Walking up the road, I was a bit unsure, but all I could see is a fence in front of me, and I thought that was basically a gate blocking off a private road up to Baggrave Hall. But it's not, because there's a cattle grid next to it. Cross over there, and it says 3 miles to South Croxton, and then 2 miles back from where I am now to Keyham. So that's 5 miles. I've already done about 3, but that might be by road. So I'm going to be coming across fields and that lot. It might be a lot quicker that way. Well, at this point, I've done 3 miles. And I thought this walk was going to be about 7.5, 7.75, but I think it's going to be closer to 9. I'm not that fussed, but there's a lovely road to walk down. That looks like another church just over there to have a look at, if we can actually get to it. This is Baggrave Medieval Village, Like many of the villages around here, like Inglesby Medieval Village and Crenby Medieval Village, the landowners kicked all the tenants off because they found it a lot more profitable to have sheep on and livestock than people. Baggrave Hall dates back from the 18th century. Built after the medieval settlement disappeared, is a stark contrast. Privately enclosed and still standing. Once you go on past Baggrave Hall, you'll see a public footpath sign. You turn left here and straight across the fields. Well, we're about, I'd say, a mile away from South Croxton, and we've just done 4 miles. Well, this is a nice strong sturdy bridge, if not a little slippy, over Keyham Brook. Then I think obviously when you get out of here, you turn right. This has been a relatively easy route, apart from a little bit muddy and slippy underfoot, but it's been a straightforward route into South Croxton. Then we're going to visit the church and see if we can find this trig point. As you come into South Croxton, you go down King's Lane and turn right onto Main Street and head up towards the church. Interesting name, the Malt Shovel Cottage. But we're heading up to the church now. St John the Baptist Church has some quirky features you don't always spot. The tower has gargoyles, one looks like it's grinning, and there's the one on the south side that looks more like a bear. There's even a carved face shoved into the west end of the south aisle wall, which I couldn't find. The church itself isn't lined up perfectly east-west, it's angled at about 80 degrees. Some people reckon it might have been built to catch the sunrise of St John's feast day. Problem is, St John the Baptist is linked to midsummer and the sunrise would then be further north. Sure, if the horizon was flat, it would make sense, but there's hills to the east which would push the sunrise later. Nowadays, with all the houses around, it's basically impossible to check to see whether this is true. It's actually nice to see the Yule goat after what I did in the Christmas Advent calendar countdown, to actually see one in a church. I love the Christmas display in churches at this time of year. The nativity scene and my favourite, the Yule goat. One day perhaps I'll finally spot the Christmas spider as well. There's the font decorated for the season, along with some fine stone carvings. The meaning long forgotten but still adding to the character of this place. It's a lovely church, though noticeably short of stained glass windows, giving the interior much plainer, lighter feel. At first glance it feels almost modern, but the building actually has much older roots. Churches like this often begin in the medieval period, later altered and restored over the centuries as styles, needs and congregation changes. What we see is the quiet blend of the past and the present, a working church that carries its history lightly without needing to shout about it. Well, I found the benchmark at St John the Baptist Church. It's just near the tower. They're usually just near the tower, so I should start looking around there. So it's either near the tower or next to the bench. So as you leave South Croxton on Main Street, you'll come to the bend and you'll see a footpath sign. And you cross over there and this should take us up to the trig point. It's a bit of an awkward one to get to, slightly boggy around here, but that's my South Croxton trig point. Can't quite see, I don't think there's a spider on top. Definitely isn't a plate. It looks like it's in very bad condition, but it's there. So that's my, it's my 48th trig point, but on some of my trig points I got 2, on some I didn't get any. So I think this is my 50th trig point, so that's 8 more to go. So once I've actually seen the trig point, hopefully it's going to be a straightforward walk back. I'm not actually going to, well, I probably will sneak a look at my map, but it's a straight line through field, should be well marked with all the yellow way markers back to Keyham. So I think it's about 1.5 miles, so we should easily be back within half an hour. Famous last words. After walking south across the fields towards South Croxton, you'll come out onto School Lane. Follow it down and you'll soon see a footpath to your left. Turn left here and this will eventually bring you back out onto Main Street. South Croxton is an agricultural village and it hasn't changed much over the years. There's been the odd new build, but apart from that, it's very much how it was several hundred years ago. After passing through South Croxton, you cross over the bridge spanning Keyham Brook. On the other side, you'll spot another footpath sign. Turn left here. So I think I've travelled, well, actually I've almost done 7 miles. So I think I should be back in between half a mile and 3/4 of a mile, depending how things go. I can't see a church, so you know me, it'll probably be about 8 miles. I don't mind, honestly don't mind how far it is. I thought I'd just show you a quick little bit about, you know, the walk back to Keyham. Go over a nice bridge, a bit rickety, but it's definitely sturdy, made out of concrete and slabs. Wouldn't be surprised if when you get to the horizon here, or the top of the hill, we should see Keyham, at least the church. Coming across another medieval field with traces of ridge and furrow. I'm not too sure, but I've heard that they're going to be left like this. But I've got to check my map. So I'm not too sure whether I'm going off course, whether I'm supposed to be going down there to the right or up there. I was slightly out. It wasn't the top one. Got to head to the bottom. Obviously, it's muddy down there, being at the bottom. But hopefully, let me just check the map. Yeah, back on course. It wasn't that far out, literally about 40 foot, which isn't too bad for me. But this looks like it's going to be fun. Oh, my boots aren't too muddy. That's hard to get through. Hopefully we'll get through some long grass, which will clean my boots off. Otherwise I'll have to hose them down when I get home. Looks like somebody's tried to make this one not so muddy. But after going through that one, who actually cares? And I've just checked, it looks like I've still got a mile to go. And I've done 7.61, so it's going to definitely be getting close on to 9 miles. Well, over there is Old John. This is Hungarton Lane. As you can see, this is actually a public right of way. There's a footpath sign up there and a yellow way marker, but the farmers sown the crop right up to the edge, so you've got no choice but to walk through his crop. And it goes all the way down there. There's a vehicle parked up there, probably the farmer watching, and then he's going to mow. But according to my map, it is a green route. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm in my rights. In fact, there's another yellow way marker just up ahead. I'm not too sure where the next yellow way marker is, but I know, oh, there it is, it's fallen down. So it's just here, that's the next yellow way marker. So by rights, pardon me, by rights, it's straight across that field, but I don't know which way to go. Probably going to take one of the paths. I got a feeling we're being watched with that car over there. So I'm going to take this path over here, and I think it's going to be down there. I'm sure the farmer's not left this for hikers or walkers to go down. This has probably just been a well-used route for his tractor. But hopefully at the end here, either a couple of foot either side, there should be a yellow way marker. This isn't looking too promising down here. I've no idea which way to go. I'm going to double check the map. Like if I'm not on the route, I'm only off it by about 5 foot either side, but there's no yellow way marker anywhere to be seen. Well, there's a way out. We get to the end of the field. Like I say, could have gone down that route there, or that one. Like I went down that one. But if you've gone down that one, I could have done just as much damage going down that one as that one, which is negligible. But straight over here, and you'll see a little bridge. Looks nice round here. Nice clean fresh water, sort of, with all the nitrates run off. But over this bridge, and just up there, can't see it on the camera like I keep saying, is Keyham. Got to admit, on a day like today, when everybody's suffering from a hangover, it's nice to get out, feel the cold fresh air, freezing biting air on your cheeks, and just go for a nice fresh walk. When you come out from the fields, you're back on Keyham Lane, you'll see Snow Lane just in front of you, and you turn left. If you want to go straight into Keyham, you can go obviously down Snow Lane, but we're going to turn left, obviously checking to see that the road is clear, and the car should be just down here, about 5 minutes if that. Oh, well, that's my 48th Trig Walk and my 50th Trig Point, well, I think it's my 50th Trig Point, who actually managed to get 3 churches, All Saints Church and 2 St John the Baptist churches. We managed to get 2 benchmarks, 1 trig point, and now we're off down to the pub. So if you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Until then, goodbye.